So I'm gonna do this right now. Question wise, I'm gonna bring Javin in. Javin, you got it. You got yourself. You're on the board first to ask the question.
Definitely.
The floor is yours, brother.
All right. Jamal, what was the biggest thing you learned from your Survivor experience?
Wait, Javin, is that Kelsey? Kelsey? Like, is that Kelsey from playing yesterday?
I've heard she's kind of a legend.
I was like, your wife's name is Kelsey, so I loved it because I was thinking of this actual Kelsey. Shut up. Were you helping him?
See, you can type faster than I can.
That's cool.
Oh my, so we have a couple. We have a couple in the championship tomorrow. All right, go ahead, Javin. Ask your question.
Okay. Jamal, what was the biggest thing you learned in your Survivor experience that has translated to life after the game?
Oh man, that's a deep question. Thanks for the question. What I really feel about that is Survivor taught me that I'm doing all right in terms of who I am as a person and what I value and what I value in relationships. So what's carried over is that I've been able to feel better about the man I've grown into because Survivor is just a cesspool of liars and cheaters and a couple of them right in front of you who you can't trust with a 10-foot pole. So I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm doing all right.
Are you talking about me? Are you talking about me?
Talking about both of y'all, the two of you together combined.
Oh my gosh, Jamal. So when you left the chat, and so when Aaron kicked you out of the first chat and you were having problems getting in, I was like, damn, Aaron, you kicked him out of the game the first time, then you kicked him out of the Zoom call. What's going on?
He can't help himself. He can't help himself.
I'm coming to Brady next. Brady, I see you got a question in there. Brady, you are unmuted. The floor is yours, brother.
All right. So wait, I need to scroll up. Oh wait, okay. So my question is, if you could play any other season that you think that you would perform the best on, what season would it be and why?
Oh, that is a good question. Damn. You know what I would think I'd love to play? I think I'd love to play a Blood versus Water season.
Who will be your person?
I think I'd love to play a Blood versus Water season. I'd bring my dad because my dad has been itching to play this game now that he's seen me on it. And I think he and I could do some damage. And I think I'd know how to play that game socially. I
like that. Aaron, do you have a season you would want to be on?
Off the top of my head, Redemption Island. Redemption Island.
Oh.
Because it's more like a challenge, right?
Yeah, more of an opportunity for me to get back in the game once I get
here for that. I don't always agree with Aaron, but when I do, it's about the theme of Survivor that I would do the best on. So I agree this time.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Good question, Brady. Bennett, coming at you next. You are unmuted. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So I have a question for Jamal and then also you two to answer as well. But hypothetically, say we're headed to like a Second Chances 2, and you have the opportunity to give one person from your original cast a spot on Second Chance. And it can't be yourself. You have one vote, one pick. And let's just double down and say it can't be any of you in the room either. So not the three of you. Okay. Who is it and why?
Oh.
That's easy, yo. I am dragging with me Miss Nora Solomon because I will hide behind her and she will just take all the heat from me. And she'd be an amazing partner. Absolutely. Nora.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. One person from my season can't be me, can't be these guys. Wouldn't pick either of them anyway. Not even thinking about it. I'm going to have to go with Molly. I would love to see Molly get more time. I was just thinking about this the other day, honestly, thinking about Molly. I wish she would have gone longer in the game. I think she would have been quality TV for everybody.
I'm gonna go with Nora, just from a sheer entertainment standpoint. 100%.
Absolutely.
There's no question. I don't care what season she ends up on. It's going to be entertaining. So
I like that. I was thinking Molly more along the lines of like slitting throats, like strategically, like ending people's lives, you know?
Yeah,
I tried to bring Molly along. It didn't work out for me.
Did it? The king, the queen, and the jack.
Couldn't do it.
Good question, Bennett. Good question. All right, I'm coming to Brian. Where you at? Brian, you're unmuted.
Where is he? I see him. All right.
There he is. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, sorry. Had pretty bad service right now, but Jamal, just wanted to ask. I saw that during the season you found an immunity idol. We only see you looking for like 5 minutes. How long did you actually look for it in total?
Yeah, man. This is for every Survivor player ever. Like they only can show you when we find it because they don't want to kill all that time showing you that we look for it. So that was 2 days, 2 full days of looking for that thing, and I finally stumbled upon it. So I'd say a combined time of like maybe 5-6 hours out there looking for that thing.
Good answer. Good answer.
All right, Luke, I'm coming at you. Go ahead, brother. You are unmuted. Oh, hold up.
Am I good?
You're good.
First of all, I thought I was a super fan. I am not. You guys are incredible. That was shocking. My question is, what aspect of the game do you think you guys were least prepared for, whether that be physically, mentally, strategically? And I guess, how did you prepare for each of those 3 going in a little bit briefly?
Go ahead, Jamal.
I think I was unprepared for, and I think Aaron's answer might be the same. Like, I just didn't plan to get blindsided the first vote. Like, that just was not a part of my plan. That wasn't a part of my understanding about how my game would go. So when that happened, it just threw off my whole shit. So yeah, like I didn't prepare for all the scenarios that I could be in. And I wish I'd thought more about what it'd be like if I did that.
Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo part of that. You know, you go into the game and you've got, you know, all this strategy built up in your head as a fan of the game. And, you know, you're not thinking that I'm going to be on the outside of the vote for the very first vote. You don't even think that your tribe is going to go to tribal council. So, you know, for us on Lyro, it was behind the 8 ball double time where I was 3 days in getting blindsided. It was literally the worst start that you could ever have in the game of Survivor. So for me, it was like, as a fan, I'm sitting there and it's like, this is like my nightmare right now. My nightmare has come true for me. But realistically, from a preparation standpoint, I thought I was good. I thought I was ready, but I struggled being away from my family. For me, like, you know, and it was tough because I was on a season where there was nobody that had a younger kid. Tom had like 20-year-olds, Janet has 30-year-olds, and Dan has 13-year-olds. So I was the only one that had young kids back home, and on the minority of people who were married. So for me, it was like I left my wife and I left my 5-year-old at the time back home, and that took a toll on me. So like, day to day, it was really, really difficult to try to keep that outside of my game.
And Luke, can you say it one more time for me?
Yeah. So what aspect of the game, whether it be physically, mentally, or strategically, were you least prepared for, and a little bit how you prepared for each of those? I think Missy, I heard you say you studied film quite a bit.
Beautiful. Yeah.
But did you guys lift weights, or I guess swim too, or did you starve yourselves, or did you sleep outside a couple days, stuff like that too?
Okay, perfect. So for me, preparation-wise, I went into complete Survivor hibernation. I spent 2 months in my best friend's apartment in DC, and I had a very set schedule where I was studying film in the mornings, working out in the afternoons, studying film again, taking notes, trying to contact alumni players like, hey, Wendell, can you teach me how to make fire?
Right.
So I was doing a lot of that, very obsessive, just a lot. And then in the game, what I couldn't prepare for, I think an easy answer for me is the cold. No matter how many cold baths you take or how much Dr. Hoff audiobooks you listen to, it's fucking freezing. It's just cold as shit. You know, it's just cold. It's cry yourself to sleep cold. And then game-wise, I was coming off of a time where I was just backpacking around the world, basically, and I was doing it alone. So I came into the game very untrusting, because as a single woman who's traveling alone, I think I was like, I'm on guard, I'm protecting myself, I'm not going to bars late at night, you know, just like normal women things. And so when I came into the game, I think from start to finish, I was very untrusting. Even of my core alliance, there were days when I thought that Aaron was coming for me, and I don't think he was. He might have been, but I had no reason to think that. Yeah, he's like, no, Missy. See, I still. So I had no reason to think that, but there's a day where Aaron and Jamal walked to the water well on Bokai, and I'm telling you, I lost my shit. I got up and I low crawled through the mud and came very close to the water well and just listened to Aaron and Jamal talking, because I was like, Aaron's trying to go with Jamal. He doesn't want me anymore. So I did not plan for my lack of trust. I thought I would be able to trust a little bit, and I really just couldn't.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, good question.
I just learned that. That was news to me. Okay, wow.
Yeah, we've never talked game before. We got to talk about it.
So I know that Alex, you didn't ask a question. Kyle, Christina, you guys didn't ask questions. Amir, Alfred, you guys got any questions? Any? Yeah, Kyle. All right, Amir, I'll get you next. Kyle, I'm coming at you.
I was just wondering, what is something that you learned about Survivor from being on it that your average superfan probably doesn't know?
Go ahead, Jamal.
I mean, it's the obvious answer. It's just like, I know the experience of sitting on the couch and being like, oh man, why didn't that person talk to this person? And that was so dumb. Like, why didn't they know for sure that was happening? And guys, I promise you, everything that you could possibly think about, like, oh, he should have talked to that. We did that. Like, we talked to everybody. We considered everything. And there's just so much. Like, to be honest, Survivor is so much more interesting to us as players than it even is to the fans, because we know every single piece of what we experienced out there as what was part of the game, and you only get a small slice. So that's what I would say is, like, Survivor is actually a lot more interesting than what you see on TV, because of everything that you don't see. So that's what I would add.
What a beautiful, eloquent answer.
Yeah, very good. My big thing, and like this is not talked about a lot, the unfair, or the disadvantage that you have given your time to give a confessional. And I'll just lay it out there the way it works. So the way that they have it set up is they've got production, and usually either one or two, depending upon the size of the tribe, where they'll pull one or two people away from the entire camp, and you're going to be gone for an hour. And you're gone for that hour, and you're giving your confessional. Now, they know the pecking order of, like, who's in trouble and who's going where, so that they can string together the story as best as they can in real time as possible. So if you're on the chopping block or you're driving the vote, you're later in the game when it comes to confessional time. So you for instance, could be brought at the very end, giving your confessional just before they put you on lockdown, before you head to tribal council. And when you give your confessional during that hour time, so much shit can happen back at camp that you have no idea what's going on. So when you return from your confessional, there was an hour that you were gone. You don't have an opportunity to cross-check the people, and you're right back on lockdown. So there was a time where I gave my confessional, 5 minutes after I got back, lockdown. You guys can't talk. So I had no opportunity to say anything to anybody to make sure that the vote was still where I thought it was an hour and a half ago. So that's a big part of the game that you don't take consideration, and it does play in strategy, big time.
Definitely. I think I echo both. What Jamal said is perfectly put. No need to add more. And then same thing for Aaron. They pick who goes when and where and at what time. So regardless of your plan and what you're doing, if they don't necessarily need you in the game any longer, it goes very deep, I guess. I had a couple of times, just like Aaron, where people I needed to talk to, they were gone all the way up until lockdown, and the vote could have swung a different way had they have known. Oh wait, even with Jamal, okay, was it your vote out? I don't know what it was, but me and Jamal went down to the beach one day. I think me and Jamal, we were maybe 2 more days and maybe we would have had like a deeper relationship. But when you're coming from split tribes, it takes a minute. And Jamal pulled me aside. He's like, I finally want to tell you something. Haven't told anybody else. You need to know this. I trust you. And when you extend trust like that, that was enough for me to maybe go onto Jamal's side. But as soon as he said it, we went on lockdown. So like, I can't do anything with this useful information. I need time to talk to Aaron. I need time to circle back with Elizabeth. I need time to make sure Elaine's on board. And if we're not given that time, they know our plans, production, they know everything that's being said. So if we're not given the time to allow something to play out, it's pretty frustrating.
Right.
I think, yeah.
And let me just add, like, that's exactly right. Like, I don't think any of y'all know anything about my relationship with either of these two people. Mm-hmm. They didn't show any of my conversations with Aaron, any of my conversations with Missy.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, we all know what played out during my vote out, but if that shit wasn't a part of the Survivor story, I think the shit that went on between us is just as interesting, if not more so, in terms of gameplay and all that. So it's really something.
Oh my goodness. I have to echo this too, because me and Jamal had a lot of beautiful moments. We really did. I remember there's one morning where he would wake up a lot to go watch the sunrise. And one morning I had a really bad night's sleep, probably because Aaron's bitch ass left me to freeze. And so I think I slept really bad. I woke up, saw Jamal watching the sunset, and I went over to talk to him. And after that moment, that's when I think the very next time that we talked, had we have had time in the game, we would have actually formed a relationship and maybe took people out together instead of being on opposite sides. So,
I can echo that. If Jamal had Missy, then he had me. So That's really what it hinged on. Because I extended the olive branch to Jamal, and we shared a couple opportunities where we wanted to play the game together. And it didn't show that. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you guys don't see that happens.
Yeah, a lot of cute moments.
Good stuff. Good question. Amir, come at you. Oh.
Yeah. I'm just curious, like, when you guys are trying to be sneaky, how much do the camera guys like mess that up for you?
Oh my gosh, you have to. I'm sorry, Jamal. Please go ahead. You're the co-host.
Go ahead.
Okay. I just wanted to say, no, Jamal, please. You're the co-host. Please go first. I truly want that.
Yeah, I mean, yes, is the answer. I mean, right? So what you don't understand is there are 3 people per camera crew, right? It's the guy holding the camera, it's the guy holding the boom, and then it's like the technician who has all the like discs and stuff. So literally everywhere you see somebody walk, there are 3 other people like following you with the camera, making all kinds of noise and talking to each other through the little microphones. So it's actually really hard to be sneaky. So yeah, they mess up the game a lot. But actually, to be honest, it's actually good if you don't want people sneaking up on you, because then you're like, oh, okay, the camera crew just literally ran from this conversation over in that direction. Some shit must be going down over there. So you can actually use the movement of the camera crew to get a sense of what's going on in the game. So it can kind of go both ways. But yeah, for a sneaky game, it's kind of hard to do with the 3-person camera crew chasing you everywhere.
Wow. Yeah. I got so excited because the conversation that I mentioned earlier is very near and dear to my heart, where Aaron and Jamal are standing at the well and they're talking so intently, guys. Like, I remember this. I've had nightmares about it. I've dreamt about it. I started low crawling through the mud. I'm super dirty. I have mud in my face. There are ants crawling on me and biting me. And the camera crew behind me, this dude was chewing on a pack of gum. I literally stood up and I was like, if you're coming with me, you're in a crawl. Everybody's crawling. Either we're all gonna crawl or you're not getting content. You're crawling, I'm crawling, everybody's crawling. And he just looked at me for a minute and he was like, I'm not doing them. Like, you're gonna blow up my fucking spot. Because at the well, it's a very open field of grass. So if you just look past the grass, that's pretty low, like midsection size, you'll see my 3 cameramen just standing there and you can assume where I am. I'm in the mud like a maniac. And so I made them crawl with me. And they didn't want to, but I'm like, you want this content. Like, if Aaron is turning on me, you need this footage because I'm going to fuck his life up. So yes, I got very excited to tell that story. Thank you. Go ahead, Aaron.
What did Aaron say? Aaron was like, Missy and Elizabeth, those are my girls.
Yeah, it was really cute. I should tell that part of the story too. Aaron was always with me. I was just very like, trust no one ever. I love you, Aaron. I truly love you. Please take the floor. The mic is yours.
You guys answered the question. So yeah, I mean, the camera fucks everything up. So if you're gonna go make a move and you're trying to do something shiesty, they'll blow your whole game up. But you have to be perceptive to see, like, because if you're having a conversation, if Missy and I are talking about nothing, and then all of a sudden the camera crew just dips and jets, that means they have a video to go over to something that's happening that is important. Either it's funny, which it could have happened because Lane's out there, she could have been heard talking some redneck stuff, or people strategizing. So it was more likely something funny than the strategy going on, but you still got to be perceptive to that.
Oh, okay. And then more hot tea. If the camera is on you, me and Elizabeth were talking about voting Aaron out one night. Like, we were dead set. We were like, he has to go. He's coming for us. I was telling her the plan of how we would vote Aaron out. The camera was in our face, and all of a sudden, she just left for no reason and ran away. So I looked at Elizabeth and I told her, obviously, we don't have the numbers or something else is going on where we probably can't get Aaron out tonight. It just didn't make sense. If the camera's not filming you, whatever you're saying does not go to the storyline or the plot line of what Survivor wants to air, if that makes sense.
Nice insight. Alex, Christina,
that is insane. Wow.
Either of you? Christina, I got you.
Okay, so from when you play your season, there's a lot of time before it actually airs. Like, what is that like watching it back? You know, you played your season. You remember we've been seeing, like, we're not seeing some of the conversations that are happening between you guys. What's that like watching it back and seeing it play out?
Go ahead, Jamal.
Yeah, it's so wild because, if you think about the timeline, right? Like, I'm hanging out on Ponderosa, chilling. Aaron comes, Missy comes. We're chopping it up. We're having a good time. Everybody else comes out. Then you have all this time where we're talking about the game, but I don't think everybody says everything that happened out there. And so it's funny because you develop these really, really tight relationships. Like, to be honest with you, like me and Nora, we're kind of cool, you know, like going into the season. And then when the season starts airing and you start to hear some of the ways that these people who you're now friends with were talking about you, it's like, damn, for real? Like, you thought that about me? Like, you hated my face? Like, for real? Okay, damn. So
Wow.
it's jarring. It's like you almost feel duped because you then develop real life relationships, meet their kids, meet their families, and then all of a sudden they're on national TV dogging you. It's a really hard thing to reconcile. But I think at the end of the day, we all understand when out there, we all get it, right? Like, I think eventually we're like, yeah, it's just a game. Don't worry about it. It's cool. But it's definitely a journey. You have to definitely put your feels aside while you watch it back. But it takes.
Great question.
So for me, like, I made sure I level with everybody. Whoever I talk shit about, like Karishma, I sat her down and I was like, Karishma, I'm going to write you a story of every single thing that I said about you. I don't know what they're going to show, but I literally went in daily on my dislike. And she's like, I know. And I'm like, I don't want to be caught in that situation that Jamal's talking about, where I muck it up with Karishma. We're cool at Ponderosa. And then I didn't tell her what I said. So, you know, I tried to prepare as much as I could to tell everybody, you know, who I said stuff about. And obviously they didn't show a lot of that stuff. But the thing that you can't prepare for is what aspect of you they highlight and they show.
Yeah.
You can't prepare if you're going to be vilified, if you're going to be the hero, if they're not going to use any of your negative content, but only highlight all the positive stuff that you said. That's something that you don't control, but that's something that they have full control over. And you sign that. When you sign that piece of paper and you finally make it on the show, you sign your life away to say, you can depict me, you can use me, you can take sound bites from previous conversations and piece it together as if I'm saying it to Jamal, which would make me look like an asshole, but I was really saying it to a Missy, right?
So it's a joke.
They can do all of that stuff, right? They can take eye rolls from this situation and insert it here. Like, you have to be prepared for that, right? Like, you could think that you're ready to go until you're the villain, like you're the asshole, you're the dickhead, you're the douchebag. Like, it's heavy and it's hard to take it in because you're just a person. Like, we're just people, right? Like, you guys are people. We're all people. Like, we're big Survivor fans. We just got chose. We got super lucky to end up on the show.
Mm-hmm.
We don't sign up for like the hate and the vile content that gets spewed at you. And our season was a lot heavier than most seasons, as you guys know, right? So that's a big part that you got to be ready.
My part, really quick, Christina is a dope graphic designer. If you have any graphic designing needs outside of Survivor, inside of Survivor, if you go to my page and you see the flyer for the Rhode Island, the March event, this is who made it. She's super cool, very down to earth. You need anything, hit her up. For my answer, and then can you say the question again? She's muted. Oh no. Thank you.
Yeah, there's just a lot of time from like when you actually played out your season to when it actually airs. You know, you have this vision of how the game went. What's that like watching it back?
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I love you. All right. So for me, I wasn't really concerned, I think, about what people were going to say, or I wasn't concerned about what I was going to say about other people. If I said it, I meant it in the moment. It was a game. I was there to slit throats. I wanted to slit throats. It brought me enjoyment. So I don't think anything that anybody said about me was false. Missy's playing hard. Missy may be playing too hard. Yeah, Missy's a threat. I agree with those things. I'm totally fine with those. I think what really fucked me up, like what really, really got me, I got home the night we all landed from the airport. My best friend picked me up and I got back to her apartment and I started eating, but I also started crying. I was like, I think I'm gonna be a villain. And I couldn't tell her why, but I was just like, I feel like I'm gonna be a villain. And so seeing it back on TV and having already thought that, when I watched the vote out for Chelsea and to see how cold and calculated I was, I thought it was a great move. I still stand by the move. It made sense to me in the moment. But to see my face at the tribal council where I'm just like, that shit is scary to me. Like that really, you don't remember so much because you're starving, you're dehydrated, you're probably paranoid, you're anxious. Some people have PTSD that comes about because of all of this. And so while you're out there, you really are in survival mode and your memory may not be catching the whole time. So I knew I was playing hard. I knew I was playing aggressive. I knew I was playing well, but to watch what I had to have looked like to these people, I totally understand why I was a villain. Like my face was cold. It was hard. Yeah, and then same thing with like Ronnie was crying one episode, I guess the first episode. Vince was crying the same episode, and I'm sitting between them just done. So yeah, that was shocking for me to see how deep into the game I was, I think was the most shocking part.
Good
Lovely.
stuff. Yeah, Alex, you got a good question to wrap it up, so go ahead.
Try it again, Alex. Your audio is a little slow.
Would you give for anyone upon
So you're a little choppy, Alex. So the question she has is, what advice would you give to someone for applying to the show?
What advice
Go ahead,
would
Jamal.
you give for anyone applying to the show?
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Jamal.
What advice would I give for anyone applying to the show? I'm going to steal this. I'm admitting that I'm plagiarizing here because this is something that Molly says all the time. And this is, if you ever apply to the show and you get on it, first of all, like apply to the show, be yourself, make an engaging video, all that stuff. But if you get it, the first thing you should do is go around and ask every single person who knows you well, why would somebody want to get rid of me?
Yes, Molly.
Why would somebody want to vote me out?
I'm
Because
texting her.
you don't know what you don't know about yourself, right? So if your friends start telling you like, yeah, no, I will vote you out because you're, really, really personable and really funny and all this stuff, then you'd be like, okay, I know then that I have to tone that down or I have to strategize around that, because we all think we're self-aware, but we're really not. I think that piggybacks off of what Missy was saying. Like, what is it about me that would make people feel like I'm a threat and want to vote me out? And if you gain that knowledge, maybe you can start to strategize with that information.
Wow, dang, Molly, I'm texting her right now, telling her I love her.
It's good.
And then go ahead, Aaron.
My advice is simple. Don't stop trying. I'm assuming that everybody in this room, you guys are all fans. I'm assuming you've all applied for Survivor. Okay, don't stop. It was 13 years ago, the very first day or very first video when it was VHS that I submitted to try to get on the show.
What's VHS?
VHS, yeah, I'm sorry.
Wow.
VHS for some of y'all wasn't out or was gone after when you were born. But yeah, so
you see how Aaron has the most grays, right? You see how Aaron is the old man.
Don't stop trying.
I love this content, Jamal.
Somebody says if you get a call from casting, they're like, nah, you're just not a good fit. Screw them, because they could get fired and you never know.
Yes.
For like year after year from the casting director that it just wasn't a good fit. Like it wasn't going to work this season because I was this, I wasn't to that, it wasn't to this. And then it was a matter of, all right, well, Jesse Tannenbaum is now in place. So if I would have just stopped because I didn't get accepted to go on the show when I first got a call back, and as I was dejected then, I never would have ended up living out my dream. So my advice to all you guys, apply every single season, every year.
Beautifully said. I mean, I'm going to echo both of them. I love Molly's words. I love the plagiarism, Jamal. Always apply. I think just be completely yourself, even the parts of you that you think are probably super weird and you maybe don't show to your friends, show it to the camera. Like when you're making your video, whatever you think is the quirkiest thing about you, if that makes you you and you truly believe that, speak your truth to the camera, let it come out, and somebody will see it. Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you. All right.
Good stuff. Good. Hey, good stuff, guys. So the way it works, if you guys are top 5, type your email into the chat box. I'll be contacting you tomorrow, giving you a new Zoom link. It's 7:00 tomorrow. So those of you that made it on, Jabin, congratulations. Kelsey's going to
Kelsey, let's go. Let's go, Kelsey.
So just type in your email into the chat box. And thank you for participating, guys. We're going to try to get this video together. We'll send it out in social media. Missy's going to edit it up, and that way you guys can kind of share it. But
yes, y'all. Congratulations to the top 5. Keep applying. If you didn't get it, we'll see y'all later. After you put your emails into the chat, go ahead and log off. We'll see y'all later.